Good afternoon, everybody. If this was a sporting event, that just wouldn't cut it, but good afternoon, everybody. It is my pleasure to be here today and welcome our new athletic director, Heather Lyke. This is a very exciting day, and in just a moment I'm going to get into Heather's background and explain why I'm so excited, but I want to start first by acknowledging the hard work it took to get to today. Let me start first and foremost with our search committee. We had 12 individuals representing an entire cross-cut of the athletics and academic community. We had staff, coaches, faculty members, administrators, and most importantly, student athletes. And I benefited from receiving this well-balanced and deep look at a outstanding group of candidates. And I have to tell you, we would not be here today if it wasn't for that committee. So to all of you who are on the committee, my deepest thanks. I also want to extend a special thanks to Randy Jewell. We should have a saying here at Pitt that, when in doubt, call a pharmacist. And you all know 2 years ago, Randy Jewell was, again, in this dual-hatted role of both our acting athletic director and chair of our search committee. And we know what a great job he did at that time, but this time he had to come out of a well-earned retirement to do it again. And so, Randy, you have our deepest thanks. You certainly have earned our gratitude for all the hard work you've done. And finally, I want to thank Glenn Sugiyama and Pat Richter and the entire DHR team that supported our search. They worked tirelessly around the country to identify those potential candidates and ensure that our committee had access to a truly outstanding pool. So Glenn, I want to thank you for everything that you did as well. Let me start with where we're at. Following Scott Barnes' tenure, it was important to me that we were looking to find somebody who could take that new sense of direction and momentum in our athletics program and now get results. I was looking for somebody that was first and foremost focused on the success of the student athletes. That had to be the starting point. I was looking for somebody who bought into a comprehensive definition of success. That means winning championships. That means graduating with at least one Pitt degree. And that means ultimately leading successful lives. I was looking for somebody who was going to work with our coaches and our staff. Our coaches are the ones who work most directly with these student athletes, and our staff in their success. And I was looking for somebody who would be a great partner, who would ensure that they were supported and could do everything that they need to do. That includes the people, the tools, and the facilities to support the success of our student athletes. I was looking for a great leader, somebody who was passionate, hardworking, and results-focused, and somebody who is a great partner. Athletics at Pitt is a team sport, and I was looking for somebody who was going to engage our alumni, our partners, organizations like the Steelers, our fans, our ticket holders, our boosters, to bring the entire Panther Nation along to support this great endeavor. And in Heather, you will see we found all of those qualities. Now, I should point out before we go in, we're also making a bit of history today. This week, and this is a coincidence, Heather, you don't know this yet, our Student Government Board had designated this Women Empowerment Week. And I should note that in the 106 years that Pitt has had a full-time athletic director, this is the first time we've had a woman run athletics here at Pitt, and so a new barrier has been broken. Let me now define what I saw in Heather. Today we are welcoming Heather Lyke and her family, husband David Catalano and her children Ellie, Sophie, and Eli. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Welcome to Pitt. We know you're going to love it here, and you're going to see a whole city. Make sure that you sink some deep roots, and this feels like home for you. Heather has her own roots from Canton, Ohio. She grew up about 100 miles from here. And both of her parents and David still live in Canton. In fact, she's joined today by her parents, Jerry and Marilyn, so welcome to you as well. Heather was a natural athlete growing up, and I understand she has shared some of that genetic skills with her children. She herself became a scholarship student athlete at the University of Michigan, playing first base on the softball team, becoming a captain eventually for that team and leading that team to a Big Ten championship. She was an accomplished student, earning her Bachelor of Science in Education from Michigan and then going on to earn her law degree from the University of Akron. She has worked in college athletics for over 22 years and in a whole host of roles, from broadcasting, marketing, compliance, sports administration, and in a number of organizations, including the NCAA, the University of Cincinnati, and Ohio State University. And of course, the last 3.5 years as Director of Athletics and Vice President at Eastern Michigan University. And I will tell you, her resume is incredibly impressive, and it's long. So I'm not going to give you the whole thing today, but I want to touch on a few high points. In her role at Eastern Michigan University, she oversaw 21 sports and 550 student athletes. She was a turnaround specialist, coming into a university that wanted to see success in its programs, and success followed. She saw dramatic improvement in Eastern Michigan's programs over her tenure. Football was revitalized, transitioning from a 1-11 record to 7-6 and earning their first postseason bowl game in nearly 30 years. It was the largest win-loss turnaround in Division I FBS football. And you know, that success wasn't just on the field. That football program boasted the top team GPA in the MAC for 2 consecutive years. Under her leadership at Eastern Michigan, that university moved to the top of the MAC, a very competitive mid-major conference, immediately, with 13 MAC team championships, 71 MAC individual champions, over 200 all-MAC student athletes, and over 300 academic all-MAC honorees, and 17 MAC Coach of the Year awards. The academic achievements set new records for the university, with its highest graduation success rate and earning the highest term and cumulative GPAs in program history. She saw a 51% increase in fundraising performance over her tenure there, setting new records in fundraising for both the number of donors involved and the amount of cash received, and included the largest gift ever given to the university. And her programs were recognized for excellence, earning the MAC Cartwright Award for overall program achievements in academics, athletics, and citizenship, and the MAC Jacoby Award for excellence in female athletics, and an interesting one from Texas A&M Laboratory for the Study of Intercollegiate Athletics, the EM Cup for excellence in management, and the most results per dollar, which is a fascinating efficiency. They were the first out of 128 FBS schools. She's a recognized leader nationally, having served on a variety of committees, including the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Committee and many others. And so you can see from this resume, Heather has a proven track record of getting things done. But I will tell you now what the resume won't show, and what we saw in that interview by the search committee and my experience. In Heather, you are going to see somebody who is incredibly passionate, a dynamic leader with a vision that Pitt can dominate our conference and win championships, graduate our students at the highest level, and ensure student success. That passion and commitment is followed by an unsurpassed work ethic and an ability to get things done. She is committed to working closely with our coaching staff to ensure their success, and she realizes that this is a team sport, and she brings all of us from the university, university administrators, our board, our donors, and other stakeholders. I think she is an outstanding fit for the University of Pittsburgh. I think she's going to take us to new levels. And so it is a great honor and a great privilege for me to welcome Heather Lyke as our newest athletic director for the University of Pittsburgh. Heather?
Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much. I am honored to be here today to accept the position as your Director of Athletics at the University of Pittsburgh. And I want to thank everyone who was involved in the search process, the members of the athletic department, our coaching staff, as well as the entire search committee for the time that they spent with me. Your keen insights and thoughtful feedback about what makes Pitt attractive and what you believe we can accomplish here helped me make my decision to come to the University of Pittsburgh. And thank you to Glenn Sugiyama from DHR. You and your team are first class, and it has been an honor to get to know you. You know, we don't know each other yet, and I look forward to building a relationship with you. Meanwhile, here's what you need to know about me. Throughout my career, I was fortunate to work for 3 legendary athletic directors. They influenced me, and they continue to influence me, and here's how. Bob Goyne at the University of Cincinnati, he taught me about hard work, accountability, and building genuine relationships, and I bring those things to Pitt. Number 2, Andy Geiger at Ohio State. He was a visionary and influential leader. He demonstrated integrity when he said that the decisions we make impact the lives of other people's children. Other people's children. This is an incredible responsibility to carry with us, and I will carry it every day at Pitt. And then there's Gene Smith, my mentor at Ohio State, and he continues to provide guidance for me in my years as an athletic director. Gene has challenged me, developed me as a leader, and given me the opportunity to learn from him. He paved the way and is an outstanding mentor to so many in the business, and I am blessed to be one of them. And I bring all of these gifts to Pitt. I've spent the last 3.5 years at the Eastern Michigan University, where as a team, along with our staff and coaches, you know, we built champions. And just a word to the EMU folks, always believe that we have the power to change lives every day. So you see, I didn't get here alone, and without the support and guidance of Bob and Andy and Gene, and without the leadership experiences I've had, and the colleagues and numerous friends in the business, and all the coaches and student athletes I've had the privilege to serve, I would not be here today. And a most important thank you to Chancellor Gallagher. From the time I walked into the interview room, I felt an instant connection. I listened to a leader who I wanted to have the chance to work for. And I'll let you in on something. You know, Chancellor Gallagher shared with me, athletics is in our DNA at Pitt, and we want it to be a tremendous source of pride. And more importantly, we want our student athletes to be proud graduates and champions at Pitt. He has great expectations for the university, and I am honored to be on his team. After the interview, I left Pitt with an unbelievable amount of respect for him, and most importantly, trust. I want to be a part of his innovative vision, and I'm confident we can work together to build a winning culture and winning teams at Pitt. As for my journey, athletics is in my DNA too. I was born and raised 100 miles from here in Canton, Ohio, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. My parents were both college athletes, and my brother too, and they're here today. My experience started at the University of Michigan, playing first base for Carol Hutchins. She probably only recruited me because I was left-handed and fast, but smart enough to know that she could teach me a lot about the game of softball, and more importantly, about the game of life. And so I fell in love with everything about intercollegiate athletics and what it represents. It's an environment filled with discipline, organization, and teamwork. And after finishing law school, I knew that it was an industry that had given me so much, and I wanted to give back. And here's what drew me to the University of Pittsburgh. Number one, the people. The opportunity to serve incredible people with integrity. Number two, the tradition. 230 years of tradition, yet a place filled with an innovative spirit and vision. And I honor this tradition, and yet I'm inspired to innovate and get better every day. Number three, the expectations. It's a preeminent university with academic prestige, and it's also a platform for our coaches and our 475 student athletes to compete for ACC and national championships. And fourth, it's the belief. It's the challenge of instilling a belief that we can compete with the best. When we wear the blue and gold, we'll wear it with pride. We'll expect to win, and we'll prepare for success. When I thought about this opportunity, I could not help but get excited to be at Pitt. I kept telling myself, if you get to cross that bridge, it's going to be an extraordinary opportunity. Well, as you know, our city is filled with hundreds of bridges. And as I drove through the Fort Pitt Tunnel across the Fort Pitt Bridge, the view took my breath away. And I haven't even done it at night yet, right? And as I crossed the bridge, I could not help but think about where I had been and where I get to go. And more importantly, I couldn't help think about the extraordinary people who have impacted my life and the opportunity to expand the huddle and impact more. People matter. And a good friend and a head football coach once told me that, their facilities are really important. But the reality is, if you don't trust the guy on the right of you and believe in the guy on the left of you, you're never going to win championships. And so I believe the same is true about our athletic department. We have to build a trust and a belief that in each other, that in order to build winning teams and a winning culture, it has got to be there. As your athletic director at the University of Pittsburgh, we'll have three primary goals. One, it's to serve our student athletes. We're going to surround them with the absolute best coaches and teachers we can. We want them to be committed, we'll be committed to them to having an opportunity to earn a meaningful degree at Pitt, or degrees at Pitt. And we'll want them to win championships, and we'll develop them into the leaders who become proud alumni of the university. Secondly, we need to make sure that our coaches have the resources necessary to be successful. And we need to look for creative ways to advance their programs for success. And third, and most importantly, we've got to create an environment of comprehensive excellence. And here's what I mean by comprehensive excellence. Everybody who touches this program impacts the lives of our student athletes. Just think about them. Every single person in our facility staff, the sports medicine team that treats our student athletes, the fans who come and cheer loudly, who buy Script Pitt gear, and the donors who invest and believe in our vision. We cannot do this alone. And I look forward to crossing each bridge to build a championship culture together. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We are thrilled to call Pitt our home. And I can't wait to get started. Hail to Pitt. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather, welcome. I'm Jerry DePaula. I cover Pitt athletics for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. And I was wondering, the interview process is obviously very complicated and very intense. I was wondering what specific things you liked about the university that you got to know during the process, and what things you thought, hey, maybe I can change that if I do get this job.
Thanks, Jerry. I think the things that I liked about the university, which I needed to find out on the interview, The importance of who you work for matters to me. And so the quality of the chancellor, the chance to build a relationship with him and get to know him was very important. Alignment of leadership at a university, we can't do it alone. You know, the faculty, the staff, the campus environment has all got to be a part of the solution to building a successful winning culture here. So that was important. The leadership is primary and incredibly important to me. As for what you have a chance to build upon, it's an incredible brand, and you have a chance to be on a platform to compete for ACC and national championships. And you know, the only question is, people say, why? How are you going to do that? Well, why not? You know, how aren't we going to do it? And so I think it's an incredible opportunity to compete at that level with our student athletes.
Hi, Heather. I'm Al B. Oxenrider from WPXI TV. Welcome.
Hi, Al. Thank you.
There are a lot of positives with this job, as you just mentioned. What do you view as the biggest challenges that will offset those positives, such as the brand? What are the challenges that you'll face?
You know, thanks, Al. I think the challenges that you face is believing, you know, instilling a belief at a place. You know, I think that there's been strong tradition, and there's a history, and there's a lot of pride. It might be a little bit hidden, but you have a chance to instill that level of belief, to analyze. There's nothing that can prevent you from going out and having the level of confidence that you need to win at this level. So to me, it's about analyzing, taking the time to find out what our coaches need to have success, and building a team that is committed to doing that and helping them.
Hi, Heather. Lance Lasowski from DKPittsburghSports.com. How important is it to build the football program as part of the athletic department at Eastern Michigan? That was a big key for you and kind of the vision of what you were trying to do with the department.
Yeah. The football program undoubtedly gets a huge amount of attention, and it's an economic engine at times for an athletic department. I do believe in the importance of comprehensive excellence, and we have 19 teams here, and if we're going to wear blue and gold, we want to expect to win. And so we're going to prepare to have that level of success across the board. Football, you know, winning is contagious. Confidence is contagious. And so I think that it will breed upon within the athletic department the more teams that you have competing at a higher level, and it will continue to grow.
Hi there, Heather. I'm Craig Meyer with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Welcome to Pittsburgh. You know, you'll be the third AD here in, I guess, the past 3 years here. What kind of stability do you feel like you can bring here? And I guess long term, how do you view your role here and what you can do here?
You know, absolutely. I think it's one of the things that attracted me to the position. I've been very strategic and selective about opportunities that have come, and fortunate in this particular case that it's a perfect fit for me professionally and personally. And, you know, to have the opportunity to work at the quality of institution of this nature, the quality of leader of this particular university, and the opportunity to be on a stage and on a platform where coaches compete at the highest level is very attractive to me. And then personally, you know, it's a place where we want to call home. We have 3 kids, and it's a chance to put roots down and create memories here and be a part of the culture and the community and the city.
Hi, Heather. Alan Saunders from Pittsburgh Sports Now. You know, in your years at Eastern Michigan, what are some of the things that you learned and experienced that you can only experience as an athletic director? And how do you feel that the experience of being an athletic director, you know, contributed to you being a desirable fit for the University of Pittsburgh? And if Chancellor Gallagher, if you could comment on having, you know, actual athletic director experience as a part of the selection process as well.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of times when you're coming up into the business and you have the opportunity to learn, and again, I mentioned the leaders that I've learned from, and arguably I think they're the best of the best. But ultimately, you've got to sit in the chair and make the decisions. And I believe that the last 3.5 years have proven my ability to be a transformative and visionary leader. We set out a vision to build that football program and to turn it into something that would instill pride in a university that was dying for it, without a vision, without a plan. And so I think the evidence of the success speaks to that. And it really gave me the opportunity to build a team that believed and headed in that direction and followed us along the way as far as the vision of where we wanted to take that program. And the chance to build your own team and make an impact is really, I think, what the experience is all about.
Yeah, it was not a requirement. We certainly looked at candidates with a wide variety of backgrounds, but I would say it would be an uphill climb to not have that experience. There's a difference between supporting decision makers and being one. The kind of learning and things you deal with when it's your decision in the end that matters and it's your staff that you've put together that matters is quite different from when you're part of somebody else's leadership team. I think in the end all of us draw from all of those experiences, but I think there's elements that are simply unique with that sort of hard learning curve that you get when you're when you're in that leadership position.
Hi, Heather. I'm Brian Batka with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Nice to meet you. I guess just, can you take us sort of through the process of when you found out that you were the choice and sort of who you've met thus far, and basically just what the last, 12 to 24 hours have been like for you getting started?
Sure. I'll say that anytime you get a call on St. Patrick's Day from a gentleman named Patrick Gallagher might be a good sign. So anyway, late Friday night on St. Patrick's Day, I got a call from the chancellor offering me the opportunity to be the next athletic director, and I accepted. And since then, it has, just been a whirlwind of excitement and anxiousness to get here. I don't believe, I can't belabor the world of Eastern Michigan because those people mean a whole lot to me, and they know that. And they're in great hands and in a great position. But I feel the draw to come here and I'm just honored to have the opportunity to make an impact. And so it's been nothing short of exciting, and I'm just thrilled to be here today. I couldn't get, I don't know how much I've slept in the last 2 days. It's not been a lot, and it's not because I've had it's just your mind, and you're so excited, and it's been. I'm really excited to be here.
Hi, Heather. Tim Benz from DK Sports Radio, and Chancellor Gallagher, I got a follow-up for you as well in the back half of this. But with your marketing background, given some of the good wins that your football team got this year and some of the positive momentum they have moving forward, how do you feel it's best able to be capitalized on in terms of attendance at Heinz Field? Did you ask a lot of questions about that in that regard during the interview process? And Chancellor, if I could for you as well, how much did you try to glean from Heather what she hadn't planned during that process of the interview and her thoughts moving forward to help that?
It's a good question. The challenge of being in Pittsburgh in a professional market and trying to develop a strong identity is incredibly important. I think it's also important to develop a strong partnership with those professional organizations, and I look forward to that. And the reason being is you get a chance to, I see them as partners and an opportunity to connect and build relationships and find out and be innovative with them. Find out what they're doing and what is working and study that and build upon it. We'll have to analyze it and how does it fit for the University of Pittsburgh and our football program. But there's a whole lot of good ideas. They do some tremendous things, and I think we can learn and work together on some creative ways to do things and innovative ways to do things different. The experience of coming to Heinz Field for a University of Pittsburgh football game should be unique and remarkable. And so we've got to work hand in hand and recognize what they're doing and how do we build from that. And then we've got to develop our own identity as well.
Yeah, it's a vital issue for our success, right? Both from the business side and also from the success of our sports programs. Every coach will tell you, I've heard it from Coach Narduzzi, I've heard it from Kevin and Susie, when those stands are full, our teams play better. And our program does better. And so it was a big part of the interview process. I wanted to know how candidates thought about this issue. We have unique aspects in the Pittsburgh market that with a community that expects to win and is used to seeing winning teams on the field, and also changes nationally in how people are consuming sports and looking at sports, and we've seen those trends in attendance. What impressed me about Heather wasn't that she had the answer. I think this is going to be an experimental science. We're going to try things, and she's a real innovator. And was really excited about taking a look at the things we can do to create, that unique and special fan experience that you couldn't get anywhere else unless you came to the game. And we'll just keep working that till we get it right. I think it's like I said, it's vital to our success.
Hi, Heather. Rich Donahue, Pittsburgh Sports Now. To kind of piggyback off the football attendance, the idea of an on-campus stadium has been kicked around the last few years, and with your commitment at Eastern Michigan to build new facilities, is that something you'd look into down the road if the opportunity presented itself?
I think I have to come to get into the job and understand where we are from a facility standpoint. I came from just from one place to another. I really haven't even been very much on campus. But the reality is, we've got to assess where the priorities are, and it'll take a little time to find out exactly where the planning is, and we've got to work in collaboration with the rest of the university as well to find out where we fit within the university's vision and strategic plan or facilities master plan, and then what are our greatest needs and priorities from a facility standpoint for the athletic department to continue to elevate across the board.
I'll just say between Heather's job and my job, the big difference is it took me 1 week before I got that question. So.
Hi, Heather. Lauren Kirschman from PennLive.com. Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Lauren.
We heard and we can see the various positions you've had within college athletics and athletics in general. How did the different positions that you've held, those various experiences, kind of combine to prepare you to take on a job like this?
I think that people matter, relationships matter. And I grew up in the world of compliance, and people, that's not very traditional necessarily to get to the athletic director chair. But in the world of compliance, I think the greatest skill set you learn is the ability to get along and problem solve for your coaching staff and the whole administrative staff. And it's also to build a relationship with everybody within the athletic department and those outside of the athletic department. So you have to connect with donors and alumni and educate them about that. And you've got to connect with the facility staff and your equipment staff. So you build this unbelievable skill to get along, to build relationships with people in a very genuine and meaningful way. And so I think that foundation allowed me to continue to grow within the athletic department and take on different challenges and responsibilities.
This is a question for both of you guys. Heather, how important is it to build on the fundraising platform that's kind of been emphasized the last couple of years here since Scott was here? And Chancellor Gallagher, her experience at Eastern Michigan with the fundraising, how important was that when it came down to making a decision for the hire?
Yeah, I would say that fundraising is an essential responsibility of the athletic department, the athletic director. And it's something we love to do. It's about, again, building relationships, sharing your vision, and people who care about the University of Pittsburgh and the Pitt athletic program how they can help you continue to build upon that vision. Outside financial resources are essential, and we want to connect donors back in a meaningful way and give them experiences that they might not otherwise have. And I would say that everybody in the athletic department and everybody at our university, we're all fundraisers. We're all talking about the extraordinary things that are happening on campus, both academically and athletically. And in order to do those extraordinary things and compete at a certain level, you need additional resources. And, I love to build those relationships, talk about what we're doing. It's really a result of what the coaches and student athletes are doing and sharing that knowledge.
Well, it's not a surprise that fundraising is a major part of life in the university. It's the way we broaden the base of support and let ourselves do more to support our students and our programs without it being on the backs of either state funding or tuition. I would say that the business side of the athletic director's job is probably one of the most complex in the university, and some of that has to do with the complexity of the business model for athletics. You've got, in addition to fundraising and institutional support, you've got ticketing and merchandise and TV revenue, and all of that has to work together. But the fundraising piece is important to us. It's an area where I've felt consistently that we can do much better than we've done. We have the fan base that supports these programs. They want to contribute and make a difference, and I think if we provide those opportunities, we can do that. And in doing so, I think we can give our coaches and student athletes the tools they need to be successful and to go get those championships that Heather's talking about.
One more, thank you. One of the first things Scott did when he got here was to create the Fan Experience Committee, and I was wondering if under your leadership that will continue, and if so, why do you think it's important to keep fans engaged with your program?
Well, I'm not familiar with the committee, but I'll certainly learn about it and recognize that it's vital to understand the fan experience. And for us not to listen and learn from those who are coming to our events would be remiss. And so we've done similar things at my previous school where you have to get feedback from alumni, from season ticket holders, from people who have been coming for a long time, from former student athletes who were a part of the program and now come back. Their perspective is different than ours. And so the beauty of that is having a diversity of understanding of what that experience has been like and how do you continue to make it better.
Hi, Heather. I'm Steve Rossing with the Pitt News. With you becoming now, I believe, just the 5th woman athletic director at a Power 5 program, you've obviously already been an athletic director at Eastern Michigan, but can you speak on the feeling of pride you take on this now, or did it kind of wear off having already assumed that position before?
I don't know that it wore off. No, it's, of course, there's a tremendous amount of pride to aspire, to encourage people to aspire to the highest levels of leadership that you can in any industry. And, I thank and appreciate all of those many women who've come before me and the support that they continue to provide. And, I'll just say that I think both men and women allow for those opportunities to happen. And, I worked for 3 men who I wouldn't be here today if they hadn't challenged me and pushed me and seen the level of leader that they saw in me. So I think all of us working together have to continue to enhance diversity across the board, men, women, and in a racial sense as well, an opportunity to give people chances to grow and develop at the highest levels that they aspire to do.